community. Uh, if you could help to have others who are joining to be admitted into the webinar as they come, that would be great. So hello, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you've been having a great day. Um, I'm so excited to be here, to be able to share further on one of my most passionate topics, and that is building personal trust. That really opens doors in your personal life as well as in your professional life. And today, more specifically, I'm going to be talking more about becoming the advisor that people trust, so building a personal brand that really opens doors for all of you. So how do you actually learn to stand out, attract the right clients, and build a trust in a crowded market? Um, so I'll be sharing a little bit of introduction about myself as well. And I don't see a lot of videos turned on, so I don't know if I'm speaking to people or AI behind the screens, but would love to see if you can actually turn on the cameras as well. So this is also part of your personal branding, right? How do you present yourself? Are you hiding yourself behind the camera? Are you able to be open and share yourself further and brand yourself as well, right? This is also how I get to know yourself one on one and get to remember you after this call, and potentially we can talk further as well. So hopefully you remember that. And if you have the camera on, there will be a little surprise for you also, uh, for you to take away from this webinar. So let's see. Alrighty. So why this training actually exists? So my brand and what I really stand for is that authenticity is your superpower. Do you know yourself enough? This training really exists because there's so many capable advisors who are potentially playing small, not a bit afraid to be seen, right? If you're turning off your camera, I'm going to challenge you because that's also a meaning that maybe you want to just be a little bit hidden, right? Or stuck in the noise. You're not afraid to be stuck in the noise. Or struggling to translate your own credibility into trust online. Are you speaking out enough on LinkedIn? Are you posting enough on TikTok with short reels that really add value to your potential clients, right? So it is a number one trust factor that clients really choose their financial advisors based on trust. And 71% of authenticity impact is really there. They're more likely to buy from people when you're being when you're being you, when you're being real. And there is 100% brand necessity, meaning that your brand personal branding is no longer optional. So it really has to be something that is necessary for you to stand out in a really saturated market on LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram. So stay till the end, as I promised. If you are staying, you will have access to the starter kit that I have created separately aside from this webinar. There will be a link provided at the end that includes the brand clarity worksheet for you to try on your own, as well as a quick look at the 4 different archetypes that will be mentioned briefly here as well. So you can really decide for yourself, am I this type? Am I this kind of advisor, or am I this type? So you'll be able to understand further. And then also in the worksheet, there's 10 plug and play social media content prompts. What this means is I'm basically giving you for free what you can put into ChatGPT to be able to create your own very content that you can post for yourself to brand yourself and be seen and be heard by your potential clients. And also a bonus AI prompt to write your first post faster. If you haven't leveraged AI yet to elevate your personal branding and to elevate the kind of content that you're creating for yourself, you're missing out. And this is exactly probably the starting point for you to, really get started on that journey. And I'll be sharing a little bit more on this as well during the webinar. So lots of things ahead. I'm super excited to be here and I hope you are too. So hi, Melissa. I see some of you who have turned on the camera as well. Nice to meet you all. Ivy, nice to meet you. Carolyn. Oh, nice background. Oh, hi, Hongbin. Nice to meet you. Oh, wow, lots of you. Muhammad, Darian, Leslie, Nicholas, Belle. I hope I'm saying your name right. Belly, Belle. What a pretty name. Isaac and Kaitek. Nice to meet you. All right, lots of you who have joined. Ryan, good to see you. Grace. All right. So excited to have all of you. Okay, we're going to continue. So, this is my introduction. Good day, Darian. So, yes, I love engagement. This whole webinar, of course, I'm speaking to you, but what you can take away also comes when you're speaking out to me. What do you need? What speaks out to you? So, I can add more onto that as we go through the webinar. So, I know you saw a little bit about me, I think, in the emails as well, and who I am. But I'll do a little bit more introductions as we continue forward. You should be wondering, why do I need to hear from you, right? So here it is. So as my last name Kim suggests, I'm actually Korean. So I am Korean, Canadian, born in Japan. So I've moved around a lot. So this also challenged me as a person because I wondered, who am I? I moved to Singapore 10 years ago for work also. So there's a lot of different countries that I've lived in. But I will get to my personal branding story statement after this slide. But in terms of what I actually do, I founded my very own marketing agency called Simpin here. So basically, I touch on AI a lot to optimize marketing and operations for businesses. So brands like StoneX, which is a public listed financial stock brokerage firm in the United States. They also have an office in Singapore. So they are my client, for instance, to help them to do market launches in Australia, Singapore, as well as in other countries in Asia Pacific. I also actually, after studying at NUS, I started my very first technology startup called Venurific. I'm not sure if you've heard of it. If you're an advisor who hosts a lot of events yourself, you probably heard of Venurific. But basically, it's like Airbnb, but for events. So imagine you go to a website, you see hotels, restaurants, cafes. You book it for your own event that you want to host, right? So we're in 5 different countries with over 1 million visitors every year. And this was established in more than 10 years ago. Wow, time has flown by. But in between, before I started my very own marketing agency, I was at TikTok. So I was head of marketing for at TikTok for Asia Pacific and Middle East. So that includes Dubai, Saudi Arabia, um, if we ever get to chat separately one on one, I will have to tell you a story about when I went to Saudi Arabia. That was a very interesting marketing or personal branding that I needed to do for myself and for the company as well. But aside from that, I am a keynote speaker on authenticity, marketing, and AI, and I also train different Fortune 500 companies. I go into their offices to, teach them on marketing, public speaking, and so forth. So yes, enough about me. I want to actually share more about why I'm talking about this. So I shared about what I do, my job, my career, but I am so much more than what I do. So who am I? Who really am I? What is my personal brand? I'm giving you an example so you can also think for yourself aside from what you do as an advisor, right? So think of my own personal branding. I actually included my own LinkedIn, as you can see. I'm not sure if some of you actually checked me out before coming onto this webinar, but you can see I stand for helping leaders and brands communicate and market with authenticity and impact, right? Two key core values that I stand for that I always carry with me. That is my personal brand. And in my latest LinkedIn post, I also carry what I stand for to be resonated in my caption. So if you see here, I talk about how I stand for resilience, alignment, and intention have shaped the way I show up, not just in my work, but in my life. So no matter what post I'm sharing on my own or sharing someone else's post about me, I repeat myself consistently so that people know that when they think of authenticity, oh, Cynthia, she's always just herself. She's always just trying to communicate how people should be themselves. So personal branding is about how people remember you for what you stand for. So question back to you, right? To those of you, Melissa, Carolyn, Bell, like when people, your clients, When they think of, Kitech, do they remember what you stand for? What are your core values, right? Are you trustworthy? More than that, right? Any advisor should be trustworthy, but what more do you stand for that makes you stand out amongst the saturated market of advisors? That is something very important to think about. So I always communicate with heart, show up with clarity, and share not just my success, but what really shaped me as a person. So I share a lot about my failures. And that is something that we need to remember here as advisors. You think that because you're advising someone, you should be at the higher level, having done something amazing that you can share. Then people trust you. But no. And I'll give you an example of this as well. All right. So let's be real here. There is a branding gap, right? Most advisors face a critical disconnect between your own expertise, so what you can bring, versus how people see you in the market, right? So 82% of advisors feel their expertise is not fully represented online. And 67% of clients, they make judgments within the first 7 seconds. That is a very short attention span that we're competing with in this kind of market here, right? So how do you make sure in the first 7 seconds that you capture their attention, but they also remember you, right? Even after they finish and go on to the next content, right? Of course, 3 times engagement as well. So there's higher client engagement for advisors with a clear personal brand. They become your followers. Let's create your followers who always constantly talk about you, refer you people so that you don't need to do the work yourself. You just stand for what you really value, right? Um, Fun fact, because of my personal brand that I have built, I have done zero cold outreach since I have actually started my company in the past year and a half for my marketing agency. Why? You might be wondering. There's so many marketing agencies because I've actually built my own personal brand, speaking on TikTok, talking on LinkedIn, but also speaking at events where my potential clients are. And then I keep talking about what I stand for, and they approach me. So there are a lot of different ways for you to leverage personal brand to make revenue, make business as well. Okay. As by the way, there's a lot of people still coming in, and if you have any questions along the way as well, please, leave it on the chat. And in case that I miss out on your questions, just shout out. Okay, this is an open space as well. Okay, let me go on to an example. Anyone recognize this man over here? He has
The guy who
gotten
was
quite
caught
a lot
on
of.
camera with the what HR head or something.
Andy.
That's it. That's exactly right. Thank you, Kwak. Um, and he is the CEO of the Astronomer, very big company, right, in the US. He was caught on, for those of you who may not know, here is a little cam here. He was caught with his own head of HR at a Coldplay concert, but they're both married. So obviously, this is not a very famous man. Yes, I have to say, the astronomer has, oh, they have gone through the roof in terms of brand awareness for the business. But for his own personal branding, for Andy, wow, it's been an absolute failure. Not just because he participated in infidelity, but because of his statement. So I'm not sure if any one of you actually got a chance to read his statement. I want to acknowledge the moment that's been circulating online. The disappointment is caused. What was supposed to be a night of music and joy turned into a deeply personal mistake, playing out on a very public stage. I want to sincerely apologize to my wife, my family, and the team at Astronomer. You deserve better from me as a partner, as a father, and as a leader. This is not who I want to be or how I want to represent the company I helped build. I'm taking time to reflect, to take accountability, and to figure out the next steps, personally and professionally. I ask for privacy as I navigate that process. And he talks about how what should have been a private moment became public without his consent. I respect artists, but I hope they can all think more deeply about the kind of impact they can have on people. So there is a mention and a subtle blame towards Coldplay. So since this scandal, Andy Byron has resigned from The Astronomer because of his, personal branding taking a big hit, of course. But he's been criticized further on the statement because it's more of a damage control rather than, and also blame. So I did a little analysis. I'm a marketing person, right? So let's take a look at what he could have done better for him to have better personal branding. This is his chance. Any kind of noise, you can actually turn into a real opportunity. Not everyone gets the chance to know your name in this entire world. But he missed out on that by releasing a statement that turned the narrative sour rather than as a real opportunity for him to gain more things from it. I know this sounds bad. He did something bad, I agree. But any crisis moment is a brand moment if you are able to be real, humble, take accountability, and win with clarity every single time. That's why he didn't own his story very well. That's why someone else or anyone online is circulating stories about him, right? Yeah. You can't outsmart the internet, but you can outlead it, right? So by being human, honest, and clear in your values. So this is what he said. We went over this, but what he could have said, right? That could have helped him. He, yes, he takes full ownership, but also as a CEO, he rises from the ashes. He rises from the mistakes. He rises from the excuses, right? Cheating is bad. Everyone knows this, right? But he could have owned it by saying, I've always believed leadership is showing in hard moments. And this is one of them. I'm not here to defend myself or shift blame. I'm here to commit to rebuilding trust. So what he's gonna do about the mistake that he made, right, going forward to rebuild trust and sharing his intentions that he is willing to work on it, that could have actually helped to resonate better with the internet, with the audience, and potential partners that he already has at the astronomer, and even the company and the board itself before it told him to resign, right? So this is all about being able to take responsibility, but with authenticity, right? Not everyone has a shining moment. So think back in your own career as well as an advisor. Was there a moment that you could have done better? And could you have turned that into a story that you can share on LinkedIn? Maybe you advise thinking that this is the way it should be, but you learn from the mistake of, let's say, not having a family of your own, but you advised, and then later on you found out more things about having a family and the kind of responsibility that comes with it that made you learn how to advise better, for instance, right? So all about taking a situation to a real opportunity. That is what it's all about and what we can learn from Andy Byron as well. So thank you, Andy Byron, for making it to my webinar. So there is a problem, let's face it. There is the invisibility problem. And a lot of you go unnoticed. Why? Because you all sound alike. You have generic content. You share content that doesn't connect with everybody. You are silent online. So I'm curious here. Out of everyone who has joined here, one curious about who, like, if there is something that you resonate with the most. Do you feel that you're invisible because you sound alike, or because you have generic content, or because you're silent online? What's been your biggest personal branding challenge so far? If you can drop in the comments with an answer that reflects your journey so far. Silent. Ah, yes. Very, very common. Sound alike. Hmm. Very common as well. Yes. Hmm. Hmm. Silent online and the fear of being exposed. Message not compelling enough. Yeah, lots of comments coming in. Thank you. Thank you for participating. Saying the wrong things and being captured for. Silent online, consistency in being online. It's too noisy everywhere. Totally. So how do you stand out? Let's say talking about it's too noisy everywhere, right? Message not compelling enough, people not connecting with you because of the saturated market, right? That's the problem for any business. That's the problem for any person, right? But you are you. There is no one else who can be you, which also means you have unique advantages that you bring to your potential clients that nobody else can. For instance, if you refer back to your own customers right now, do they say things about you that they appreciate you for? Oh, Ryan, you're always willing to respond to me within 1 hour. You are so prompt, right? Oh, Melissa, you're always willing to be there for me when I'm having tough times. I know I can rely on you, right? There are specific things that they appreciate you for. Have you ever written that down? Have you ever explored what that translates to and what you can talk more about those traits online as well, in front of the camera, but also in your writing, right? Your advantages and knowing yourself is very, very important. And authenticity is the factor that is pushed the most on TikTok and LinkedIn, and also increases engagement. It's not about being fake and being perfect. TikTok is all about being real, and it knows when you're faking it, right? I know you're like, how does TikTok know? How does TikTok know, right? But we have an algorithm. So it's about communicating your story and example and being real, that TikTok pushes more of this content out to the people that you want to be spoken out to. Algorithm works in a way that pushes people who post frequently, thus online becomes rather noisy. Exactly. Consistency is key. I cannot emphasize this enough. If you want to be seen, if you want to be out there in a saturated market, be different from them. Post every single day. So, what is personal branding? For advisors specifically, I have categorized into three different factors here: your positioning, what makes you different; your presence, how you show up; your perception, what clients feel about you. P, P, P. Three P's. Simple. So, in short, people don't hire what they don't understand. So if you have maybe brainstormed all these three different parts about you, you're able to come and form a circle and create a content that speaks to all three different pillars and create a perfect circle. So something to think about. There is also the framework that I have created for you, the three C's of the trust economy, especially in the advisor economy. So it starts with clarity. Are you clear about who you are and what you stand for? People don't trust what they don't understand. Your personal brand story has to be very clear. Did you come from being advised to and you felt like, oh, there's no advisor who understands me? That's why I became an advisor myself. I know what it takes to have a real one-on-one relationship. Clear values. Is it authenticity? Is it reliability? Is it being prompt? Is it being there through tough times? Clear communication style. What is your communication style? That should also be reflected in your LinkedIn post, your tone, your personality, or even when you're talking to the camera or to the people face to face. It all has to be consistent. There you go. My next point, consistency. Do you show up regularly and reliably? Trust is built through patterns and not performances. So, regular, right? As Ryan said, the algorithm favors those who are regularly posting, right? So, if there are people who have become famous, right, as advisors on YouTube. I will show an example in Singapore. Someone that you may know who is an advisor who is also a YouTube influencer now, right? He posted constantly, And now he's an influencer on YouTube. He doesn't need to go out there doing cold outreach. People come to him. Consistent tone of voice, aligned online and offline presence. Last but not least, the third C, connection. Do you make people feel safe, seen, and understood? Trust isn't just built on facts, it's built on feelings. How do people feel around you when they meet you face to face, right? Do they feel comforted? Do they feel safe? This is a very, very, very important thing that we actually don't think about. But when there's clarity and with consistency, it should form a feeling or a connection that people keep wanting to come back to you for. They feel connected, they feel heard when they see you, they feel comforted, right? Building trust is about having created that feeling that they don't want to lose. So, storytelling over selling, listening versus pitching. People are all smart, right? We all know when we know we're going to be sold to. You want something from me, right? But when you approach it first with good intention and being real, and you're willing to listen first before you sell, people also know that too, and they're willing to stay longer. It has to be relatable instead of being robotic. So this is something we're having challenges with, especially with AI. Even if you use AI, let's say ChatGPT, yeah, for creating content, it has to make sure it has your voice as well. Just this is a sort of an exercise we'll be doing during the 2-day masterclass in September, face to face with me as we create a content calendar, but also something that really carries your personal brand in the content that you create. So the trust economy, we divide into two different categories. The trust is built on soft skill as well as the hard skill. Soft skill, meaning the trust, of course, right? There's an 81% trust requirement. So they really need to trust the brand before they buy, and also low industry trust. Financial services, especially industry itself, is a very least trusted industries, unfortunately, because there are people out there who are similar to you who have sort of paved the way in a not such a good light, which means you also have an advantage if you're bringing something different. But how do you bring that, right? How do you show that in your caption? That I'm bringing high trust, right? Something to think about because this is what people are feeling when you're speaking. So when you're creating the caption, how do you make it high industry trust? So something you can even explore with ChatGPT as well. Just ask, does this content scream high industry trust? What do you think, right? So soft skill, knowing yourself to grow yourself. So authenticity starts with self-awareness. I cannot emphasize this enough, right? There are 4 different archetypes. This is also going to be really fun because now you can drop into the comments and I want to see which type you are the most. Yeah. So the first one is the nurturer. You build trust through empathy and consistency. The expert. You gain trust through precision and knowledge. You know everything. When someone asks you, oh, I have the answer for whatever you ask for, I am the pioneer in the space. The connector, that is the third type. You build trust through personality and presence, right? You are so personable. When people talk to you, they feel like they're seen, they're heard. It's so empathetic, right? It's good, but you build connection from empathy rather than just having consistency. The visionary, you inspire trust through bold vision and leadership, right? So you make people think, oh, I didn't know this is possible. Oh, so you don't just provide answer as an expert. You make people think the unimaginable and think, well, I didn't know I can change around my situation or financial, relationship with myself in such a way. Wow, you are good, huh? You're always reading ahead and you know stuff, and you're advising me in the right way. You're futuristic. So there are 4 types that I've discussed here: the nurturer, the expert, the connector, and the visionary. So who are you? Which one resonates with how you approach your work as an advisor? Oh, there's more than one. Oh, no, please choose more than one. Oh, something we can definitely explore together during September as well in terms of the combination and how to play that to your advantage. So connector nurturer combination here for all three. The expert. Oh, wow. Cool. You must be reading a lot, huh? Muhammad, how do I know if I'm a nurturer or a connector? Um, the nurturer is more of being there through empathy, so more emotion based. Connector is more about the feeling that you generate for the person. So I would say it's sort of like an upgraded version, if I'm being honest, than the nurturer. Nurturer is just nurturing, just being there, right? Listening. But connector, the person walks away with an emotion, feeling seen, feeling heard, and you really are able to connect whatever I shared with whatever you can share as well. So it's something more aside from just being nurtured, right? Visionary, connector. Oh, so lots of connectors I see. Expert, nurturer, expert, and connector. Wow. I wonder if there's someone with all four. Then we have the ultimate advisor. Nurturer, connector seems to be a popular combination also. Hmm. Then it would be quite fun to actually create content types around nurturer, connector combination types as well, and we can work on that together. Expert connector, right? I'm the connector. The size of your assessments. Yes, so we'll be doing that during the September as well. So I have created different tests for us to go through at the day one beginning of our master class so that we can actually at the end of day two be able to create the content and be able to for you to have walked away having created something for the whole entire month and you just have to repeat it and change things around after as well. The expert for nurturers and connectors seem to be better at bringing the sales. Oh, interesting. Okay, definitely. You know what this screams for me, Nicholas? So it's like me at TikTok, right? There are people who are so good at their jobs, right? In corporate settings, right? As we all know, right? Top, top, top. Know your stuff, right? Know how to do marketing, digital marketing, event marketing, right? um, but there are people who are connecting with the senior management. So I had to report to the senior management in China, right? Um, but I don't speak Chinese. How do I connect with them? I connect with them by being me, right? Sharing my intention, sharing my struggles. I'm not perfect. Can I get support? How do I connect with you? Can I have one-on-one with you? Right? All these things, as well as leading my own team of eight different marketing people. How do I manage down and manage up? But this is not just in corporate setting. You have people as an advisor that you always work with, right? You have your clients one-on-one. They're all different personalities. How do you connect with them in different ways? Not just remembering, how many kids they have, how many, problems they have in their health, blah, 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 or finances, blah, blah, blah. That's just facts. But aside from the facts, how do you connect with them on top of the facts, right? That's a very important trait to remember, right? Super excited. Okay. Social media for advisors. So curious here also, what social media platform do you use the most right now? LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook, which I didn't mention here. LinkedIn and IG. Oh, IG. Okay. Many of you use IG. Facebook, LinkedIn. Oh, Red Note. Oh, okay, cool. Nice. Oh, Threads. Oh, okay. Oh, Darian, I really like that you mentioned Threads. Fantastic. I have to remind all of you that Threads. Oh, I'm not sure if Darren, you want to add anything onto that, but um, Threads has been phenomenal. If you haven't checked it out yet, you must, because imagine Instagram, but when it first came out, the first year, Threads is having that moment. What does that mean? Threads pushes out content more. So you're able to hit 100,000 views, 30,000 likes, comments, shares, much more so easily than Instagram. Because it's such a new platform, Meta or Facebook, it wants to push out more people to be on it. So if you post there, you're able to reach more people easily. And you're not spending anything, you're spending $0. So why are you not there? You should be posting about your personal stories, your failures that you have had, and how you turned it around to advise people better, right? What your clients have benefited from you as an advisor, right? All very important things. So I'm not sure if Darian or Muhammad, who mentioned about threads, are having such moments right now, but I work with a lot of influencers for my clients at my marketing agency, and they have, let's say, hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram, right? Threads, they're having much more impact. That's how crazy it is. So something to think about. Explore threads today, if anything, from after this webinar. Hey, what is it? Yeah, go through, just see what's going on. It's just words, no images. Um, I guess you could, but it's mostly words, and then that's why it speaks better. It's more about how you feel and you just type it out, yeah? But during the 2 days in September, we're going to be going over each different platform and how you can post to your advantage. And we're also going to practice shooting our own reel for Instagram as well, and also TikTok. So not sure if you've been already shooting reels, but it would be really cool to see what kind of content you've already created. And I can also give feedback and we can work on it together. So the most important thing to remember, emotionally driven content performs 2 times better than educational posts. Again, the reason why connectors tend to do better, right? And driving sales much more than knowing, right? I use threads for my volunteer activities and update. Oh, amazing. Yes. It shows different sides of you aside from being, an advisor. What makes you unique? This is your chance to show off the values that you stand for. So I'm gonna be honest, I'm on threads looking at people's threads all the time, but I haven't posted. I'm observing. But I'm also on TikTok where I share more about my own authenticity and different sides of me aside from being in the workplace. So something to think about your personal and professional, how closely they're intertwined to showcase the values that you stand for. Oh, so as I promised, here is Josh. I don't know him personally, but I don't know if any of you actually recognize him. Yes, no, yes, I've heard of him. Yeah, I've seen him before. Um, but basically, Josh is a very famous advisor influencer, and he has 64,000 subscribers now on YouTube. Huge. And he creates content consistently under the name The Astute Parent. What has he done well? So he's a Singaporean financial advisor who built a strong personal brand through relatable content, right? Also on LinkedIn as well, if you want to check him out. But what he did before, very focused on LinkedIn with not much storytelling, sharing what I've done well, sharing my credentials, right? And very much focused on referrals to gaining his clients. After, so um, he has now embraced the storyteller archetype, which I didn't introduce before, but something that we all want to work towards. Consistent LinkedIn content 2 times weekly, mix of personal finance tips, stories, and insights. He makes himself personable, right? And he's speaking to the camera. People trust him more when you do that, right? Instead of just words. So 4 month results, as you can see from before and after, he has 8 times engagement boosted on LinkedIn. Speaking invitations, he speaks at major events now. How amazing is that? As I mentioned before at the beginning of this webinar, for me, I don't do any cold outreach. I speak at events. They invite me and I get clients from there. This is also a very major thing to build upon the personal branding that you have built for yourself, right? Joshua 10 is doing the same for direct inbound clients from content. When you speak for yourself, people remember you and they come to you. They relate to you. They connect with you, even if you don't see them. So, for example, too often I hear, I wish I had started earlier. A 37-year-old Singaporean's financial independence story got me thinking, what builds a freedom-based lifestyle? And he talks about that, right? This feels more relatable than trying to sell. We talked about it, right? Storytelling over selling, relatable over anything else. So 5 content pillars that we can work with when we're creating the content that really build trust. The content that actually works across social media, your story, why you do what you do. I always talk about this in any marketing that I do for myself or for my clients. I say, why did you create this company? What are you trying to do that is different from other competitors? How can we use that to our advantage in the content that we post on LinkedIn or TikTok? 2, client FAQs. Answer what people already ask you. You are at an advantage. Every one of you, Ivy, Sally, all of you, Ramesh, right? Justin, why are you at an advantage? Because your business is based on one-on-one personal relationships. You already know what they're asking you all the time. You turn those questions into Q&A and then answer the most commonly asked questions through a video. This is your chance. You already answering questions that are most commonly asked. People see you as expert, visionary, nurturer, connector, and if you add story to it on top, you become a storyteller. You cover all 5 archetypes. Behind the scenes. So the third content pillar, what makes your approach different, right? 4, case studies, real proof, real results, and your POV. What do you believe in? Why does it matter, right? When you have something that you believe in and you're willing to share, no matter if you get business or not, they're like, whoa, Ryan, you are very steadfast. Good. I trust you. You have good principles and you're not willing to lose them just because someone else doesn't agree with you. That shows you that you're reliable as a person already, right? So that is something that is important to communicate in your content as well. So in the 2 days in September, which I'm so excited about, participants, all of you, will build a 30-day content calendar with me, surrounded by 5 content pillars here together with me. So as I promised earlier at the very beginning of the webinar, there is a quick prompt tip that I want to share with you. So building content with AI. Does anyone already use AI in your content creation or in your work or in your personal life? Yes or no? A quick comment or two in the comment section would be great. ChatGPT, yes, of course. The best. Oh, Napkin AI Gamma. Oh, yes. So, Nicholas, you probably recognize what I'm using right now, right? All self-created. Okay. Grok. Oh, Grok is fantastic. I would have to say Grok is really up there. Um, oh, AI videos. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, GJ Gonzalez. So basically, I wanted to say that if you're afraid of creating videos yourself, you can create an AI avatar of yourself to be talking for you. And you post that on your LinkedIn, you post that on your TikTok, Instagram. You don't need to be talking yourself, right? So there are so many different ways to use content. So if you're not posting right now and being silent, that is on you. But it's okay, I'm here. We'll do this together. So an example prompt. So write a LinkedIn post for a financial advisor who helps young families plan for their future using a warm and clear tone. So in the prompt is what matters. So it's not just about the tools. You can have amazing tools, but if what you're telling them is not quality, and if you're not being clear about the tone, if you're not being clear about the situation or the channel, then you're missing out. The output here, based on the prompt here, as you can see here, starting a family is one of life's most beautiful milestones, right? But it also comes with 1,000 new questions. So as we talked about in the content pillar before, the Q&A, we're not sharing only, we're addressing the questions. So this is a very good marketing hack that I use as well. We turn it to them, not just us sharing. So it's not one to many, but also many to one, if that makes sense to you. So are we saving enough? How do we plan for our children's education? What if something unexpected happens, right? When they read these questions from your post, they're like, hey, wait, I asked myself this question yesterday, and you're willing to answer for free as I'm looking at LinkedIn? Oh, thank you. Thank you, Sally. Thank you, Ivy, right? And they'll keep reading. So something to think about here. You can have a closer read on your own. Oh, yes. So time is almost coming to an end, and if you do stay, I do have the downloadable worksheet or the starter kit that I have created for you as well. So stay till the end. We'll do a quick group photo as well. But I want to talk briefly about the 23rd to 24th September 2-day workshop with me in person in Singapore. So day one, we're going to lay the foundation. We're going to discover your own personal brand DNA. What is your DNA? What do you stand for? Build your own story. Why do you do what you do? How do we make it sound compelling, right? How do we make it sound marketable, right? Improve your digital trust on LinkedIn, WhatsApp, TikTok, Threads. Day two, we're going to focus more on content creation. So we have laid the foundation. Now we know who you are. We wrapped it up beautifully. But let's take that beautiful wrapped bubble to burst online. Because if you just keep it, no one will know. So you got to make yourself visible. So you have to speak with power and confidence, creating content using AI, of course, and building a platform strategy and 30-day calendar as well. So you will walk away having learned more about yourself, communicating your own personal story, and branding and differentiating yourself compared to others in the industry. So really, this time is for your voice to be felt and heard. So bonus for staying until the end. You have unlocked the access to the Brand Yourself Starter Kit. So every one of you who has stayed will be receiving a personal brand clarity worksheet, LinkedIn AI prompt templates, as well as content planning cheat sheets. So I think we will be able to remember who has stayed until the end. That's why we also want to take a group photo so that we remember all of you as well, so that we can send it to you. Um, Kyra, shall we take a group screenshot so we also can remember who has stayed until the end? And then we can send these things over to each and every one of them. All right.
Okay.
Sorry.